Welcome in to I Remember My First Time. Oh, don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings.
I like the sound of that.
Where we talk about the movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
Oh, God, yes.
Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love the shit out of movies?
Oh, we love the fucking shit out of movies.
Which cinematic masterpiece do we have on tap this week?
Rambo 4, the one in Burma, titled simply Rambo.
Jacob, you can drop that 1,000-yard stare. I've seen it all before, and I'm not impressed.
BJ, you're in the jungle, puss nuts, and there's nothing to like.
I am Karen Rebel Freedom Fighter, BJ Leica.
Joined as always by me, former Green Beret badass, Jacob Ekus.
Neither of those are true.
Absolutely not.
It's just kind of funny. Rambo 4, simply titled Rambo. A movie described by Netflix as when governments fail to act on behalf of captive missionaries, former Green Beret John Rambo sets aside his peaceful existence to take action.
Awesome. That's pretty good, Netflix.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's one of your better ones.
I don't remember a big government intervention storyline, but okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever.
Mercenaries.
Just a word.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 from IMDb for this movie. 37% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay. That doesn't translate between IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes.
Not at all. This has got to be the biggest discrepancy we've had yet.
Yeah. I'm sure Metacritic's real low.
46%.
That's better than I thought.
Me too, to be honest with you.
I thought at best it was going to get 35.
Because despite, spoiler alert, both of us liking this movie, there's a lot that the critics can punch holes in this movie.
100%.
No doubt.
Yes.
Unfortunately, no Roger Ebert review.
Damn it.
We do, however, have Claudia Puig from the USA Today. It's hard to imagine who the target audience is for Rambo, Sylvester Stallone's new vanity project. Young audiences can't possibly be interested in the violent exploits of some old enough to be collecting Social Security.
Spoiler alert, 100% we can. This movie came out in, I think, 2009, 2008. I hadn't graduated high school yet. I jerked off to this movie.
Yeah, I had just started college. I was a sophomore in college, probably.
Yeah.
No matter how ripped he is or how much plastic surgery has molded his face into a permanent scowl.
This is a pro make fun of plastic surgery podcast.
Go for it. You do you.
Oh, I don't care.
But I'm going to make fun of you.
Yeah, I don't care that you do it. And if you get a good plastic surgery job, good for you. I'm even happier for you.
Look, one of these days, I'm going to get the hair transplant surgery, and I expect you to make fun of me for it.
I'm gonna.
Great. And audiences who saw the 3 previous Rambo movies in the 80s have no doubt moved on to better and smarter action fare. Bourne, anyone? As in Jason Bourne.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So, who is this movie for besides Stallone himself?
Okay.
Stallone wears one expression throughout the 90-minute orgy of explosions, severed limbs, and spewing blood. The mouthiest mercenary...
Wait, hold on. Repeat the orgy line again, because I like that.
Stallone wears one expression throughout the 90-plus minute orgy of explosions, severed limbs, and spewing blood.
God, I love that.
The mouthiest mercenary, a surly Brit, is given the best line to snarl at our hero. You can drop the 1,000-yard stare. I've seen it all before, and I'm not impressed. We couldn't have said it better ourselves.
Awesome.
So that was one of the critics that didn't like it quite as much.
And that's okay.
But how'd this movie do in the box office, Jacob?
This movie did pretty fucking good, considering. It actually had a lower budget than Rambo 3, one of the very few sequels that did a lower budget than its predecessor. It had a $50 million budget, which today is $68 million.
Okay.
On its opening weekend, off a $50 million budget, it made $18 million.
Okay. So it definitely made its money back.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that this movie didn't cost a ton. Now, $50 million is still a lot of money, but not outrageous.
No. So with that being said, what do you think the gross worldwide was? And this did take place in Burma, so it's got a worldwide behind it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it's a Rambo movie. It probably did a little better opening weekend because of previous IPs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is around $100 million worldwide gross.
That's pretty close. You were a little short, $113 million worldwide.
Right.
So 153 today.
With inflation?
153 million, $68 million budget.
Basically doubled its money.
Yeah. Really good flick.
Yeah.
Budget-wise. 48 weeks in theater.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's almost a whole fucking year. That's 4 weeks short.
All right. Wow.
I probably would have seen this twice in theaters if I was a moviegoer at the time. I just watched movies at my house. But I'd have seen this twice. To see this much bloodshed in a theater would have been fucking awesome.
Oh, there's so much bloodshed.
It was amazing.
I'm upset that I didn't see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Long theatrical run. I would not consider this, even in terms of the Rambo movies, a cult following movie. Is that fair? You're more the Rambo guy than I am.
I mean, I wouldn't consider it a cult following. It's just, it's a Rambo movie.
It's a Rambo sequel, right?
Yeah. It's a good one.
Sure.
I think, and it's been quite a while since I've seen the second and the third one, but I think it's better in the second and the third one.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And I really like the second one.
It's not as good as the first one.
No, none of them are.
Yeah. We've recently done the first one on this podcast. Go listen to it if you haven't.
Yeah.
And go see First Blood if you haven't. It's really good.
It's on HBO Max. Everyone, you're welcome. There were a lot of people on the bad reviews of this podcast that this was their first Rambo film. And if this was your first Rambo film, I can see really disliking this movie.
This would be a very bad movie had you not seen a Rambo film before.
Mm-hmm. I can really see why people hated it when that's their situation.
Because this movie's not really about Rambo.
No. That's why he did the 1,000-yard stare so long. He had nothing to say. Movie's not about you.
Right. I'm just the title character.
Mm-hmm.
You know my story.
The movie's actually about the conflict in Burma, while also simultaneously being about the missionaries, while also being about the mercenaries.
While also being about the Karen rebels, which kind of ties into the Burma thing.
Yeah. A lot of things going on in this movie. And we're going to dive into that shortly. But BJ, why don't you tell me what you liked about this movie? Because in case no one's noticed it, you're the virgin.
Oh, yeah. You're the Rambo guy. I was the person who thought I had seen the first Rambo until I saw the trailer and was like, Rambo was never in America. So I have seen the second and third one. I recently watched the first one for this podcast and watched this one yesterday, actually. The best parts about this movie is how well they shot the action set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
They're all shot really good, really cool, really fun. The cinematography in this is pretty good too. It almost kind of has a Western feel the first, 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a short movie, but that first 30 minutes, you see a lot of landscapes. You see a lot of people doing stuff without talking much. It kind of has that Western feel, and the action set pieces in this are top notch. Are they cartoonish? Absolutely. But in terms of what they're trying to do, they're top notch.
Mm-hmm. And even with them being cartoonish, and I'll get in more into this later. Actually, I'll just say it now. Many critics and audience members felt that the horrific wounds inflicted by the MT-50 cal heavy machine gun in the finale were so gory that it was unrealistic. However, returning Iraq and Afghanistan veterans who had used the M2 in combat noted that the wounds were quite accurate and, if anything, toned down from reality. In the audio commentary on the DVD and Blu-ray versions, Stallone himself makes note of this fact.
If that's toned down, I don't want to see the real thing.
No, me neither. I don't want to see it happen in real life. I don't want to see real people die.
And I mean, it's one thing. Look, war is hell. You got to do some things in war that clearly are not ideal. But sawing a man in half with a 50 cal,
he did that
several times. There are multiple people that get sawed in half with a 50 cal in this movie. Multiple people.
This is Stallone's first action movie, like true action to direct.
To direct? What did he? So
he's
obviously the Rocky, yeah.
Well, he's done Rocky 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Rocky Balboa, Staying Alive in '83.
Is that the disco movie? It's essentially like
with John Travolta.
It's essentially the sequel to Saturday Night Fever.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. He directed Staying Alive.
He directed Staying Alive.
Correct.
Okay, that. I would have missed the multiple choice test on who directed Staying Alive.
And the first thing he ever directed was Paradise Alley in 1978.
No idea.
I mean, I'm surprised you knew what the other one was. So, it's a Stallone movie. 3 Italian-American brothers living in the slums of 1940s New York City try to help each other with one's wrestling career, using one brother's promotional skills and another brother's con artist tactics to thwart a sleazy manager.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
I like the premise.
Yeah. And tell me how cool Stallone looks in the movie art.
Oh, so he's got like a pseudo paperboy hat. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you call those.
Sure.
And a fully black leather jacket with a black turtleneck under it, with a big old hoop earring and a cigarette hanging from his mouth.
And are those headphones or is that a chain?
Oh, I thought that's a hoop earring.
No, down here.
That's the zipper for the jacket.
Oh, you're right. It's a zipper. I'm dumb. But the hoop earring is fantastic. So yeah, we'll be doing that movie soon. Wow. So Jacob, you love this movie. You were excited when all the Rambos came out. Yes. What'd you like about this movie? Everything. So I say everything. When I first watched this movie, I enjoyed how horrific it was to see a group of people hating another group of people, like just how accurate that was. But I didn't really get the gravity of it when I was 17 years old watching this movie the first time. It was just like, oh my God, that's nuts. And I enjoyed the grotesque violence. I remember watching it the first time and rewinding. What was his name? Schoolboy? Was that his nickname? The sniper? Yeah. Yeah, Schoolboy. The first time he shot the 50 cal sniper and blew the guy back 5-6 feet, and then the other head exploded like a pumpkin. I rewound that like 3 times to watch that head explode like a pumpkin the first time. Oh, and I imagine at 17, this movie's cool as shit, first of all. Ripping the guy's throat out? Oh my God. Yeah, at 17, this movie had to be cool. Did you understand the Burma-Myanmar situation? So I did after the movie. I went and looked it up. Okay. Because even back then, I was looking up trivia and stuff like that. So I was very interested in that and then went down a rabbit hole with that. So I didn't really feel that when I first watched it, how intense it really was. I'm like, well, this shit's actually happening. What the fuck? So here's how old we are. In 2008, Jacob couldn't just look this up on his phone after the movie. He had to go home and use the computer. Correct. Whoop, whoop. We had flip phones. The little razors. Oh, they're called. Yeah, the razors. But upon rewatch, the first 45 minutes are very slow. I kind of liked it because I knew it was a Rambo movie. I knew what was coming. I didn't mind waiting. So it's not that I didn't like it, because I think every good action movie needs that introduction to the story, and especially one with this much violence. I was okay with that. I would have liked to cared about the missionaries and the mercenaries more. Mm-hmm. And I think that could have happened with about 15 more minutes. Because I cared about the native people in Burma. That wasn't hard to get to. Right. They did that when the movie started. And especially with it being real people. Yes. But I just felt with all that time, you could have added just a little bit more time and made me care about these characters more. And I didn't get that the first time I watched this movie because I'm just like, Rambo, 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 Rambo. And so, but this time I was like, I wish I liked these people more. Yeah, that was my biggest complaint of the movie. Having watched it the first time,
at the age I am now. I did not care about the mercenaries, and I did not care about the missionaries.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was supposed to, but I just didn't.
The only missionary I cared about had no lines. He looked up at the captors and they said, "Take him out and feed him to the pigs." He's the only one that I liked. And I liked him for that split second that he looked up, and I was like, I hope that guy makes it. And then they're like, feed him to the pigs, and I was like, well, that sucks. Also, the main missionary, Michael, do you recognize who that was?
I did not.
That's the bad guy from the Punisher TV show.
Oh, okay.
With the fucked up eye?
Yeah, I've just kind of gone in and out as my wife's watched The Punisher on Netflix.
Oh my God. With how much you liked Reacher, you need to just watch the whole thing. You take a sledgehammer to a dude's face in the first episode.
Oh, that's the movie that started my joke of Netflix hallway fight, where like half their shows are just hallway fights.
It's incredible. I love it.
Oh, I'm here for it.
Watch it. Damn it. Anything else you didn't like about the movie? Or what anything else you liked about the movie before we start?
No, that's pretty much it. It's a really cool movie. I think Stallone had really good intentions with getting the Burma story out there. I don't know if it quite hit home. Like you said, there was too many people we were supposed to care about that they never gave us time to care about. Stallone just deciding, a pretty girl wants to do this, so I guess I better go help. I was like, that's not very Rambo-ish of him.
That's because it wasn't because it was a pretty girl. She connected to his humanity and made him care again.
Yeah, that did not come across the screen.
It's probably because of all that plastic surgery. Because that's something that we talked about in preparation for this episode was Stallone's such a visual actor.
Very good facial expressions.
Yes.
You can see it in First Blood.
You can see it in Rocky.
A lot of the Rockies. Yeah.
You can see it in a lot of his 90s films.
Sure.
And all that plastic surgery took that away. That's okay in stuff like The Expendables. So Rambo's already, you've already introduced him as a complex character, and now there's not anything you can do but the 1,000 yard stare. So
it wasn't an acting choice. It was a literal physical limitation.
I think so.
That the only thing you can do was the 1,000 yard stare.
I think so. And we're a very pro Stallone podcast here. But yeah, I think it was by necessity, not by choice.
And the other thing is, I think we had a movie where I had this feeling before. Oh, it was the Other Guys, where I thought when you take a serious issue and put a goofball comedy behind it, it kind of takes away from the seriousness.
Okay.
I kind of thought with the serious issues of Burma, Myanmar, the Karen people, when then you do a comic book violence.
But it wasn't comic book violence.
A guy's head blew up like a pumpkin.
Yeah,
the guy flew back 8 feet.
Oh, that shit's real with that caliber of a rifle.
Okay.
Especially that close. Now, it's cartoonish to people that don't experience it. Because even being the history guy, when you go back and read how people treat other people, especially in war, you're just like, there's no way you believe this unless you're reading a firsthand account. Because it's so grotesque.
It felt cartoonish for me, and I felt like that kind of took away a little bit from the seriousness of the. How do people from Burma are?
Burmese.
Okay. I felt like it really took
Karen
away.
people.
Yes,
the Karen tribe.
The Karen tribe.
The Karen tribe, not Karen people. Yeah. I think Karen tribe would be more appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
We're just a couple white dudes from America.
No need to offense.
The amount of political correctness we learned growing up is almost zero. We learn it all as we get older, and we realize how fucked up everything is.
Let's put it this way. We did not call it crisscross applesauce in elementary school.
We did not. Fit Indian style.
But we're trying. We're
trying real hard.
Anything on your rewatch? Anything you found kind of funny watching this movie?
The British SAS officer. Like there's 3 characters in this movie, and none of them are the missionaries. It's Rambo, the British SAS officer, and the schoolboy sniper. And the British SAS officer was pretty fucking funny to me. I never like him a lot at the beginning of the movie, and this happens every time I've watched this movie. I've seen this movie like 6 times. And I'm just like, oh, this guy's okay. And then as he has more screen time, I'm just like, he's pretty fucking good. And then by the end of it, he's hopping on one leg, killing people. And I'm like, this guy's the fucking tits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I really like Schoolboy, too.
And I enjoy being able to use the word cunt. And when you put someone from England in a movie and they use the word cunt like we use the word damn or shit, it now gives me the opportunity to say cunt as many times as I want to. Cunt, 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 cunt.
The only person that says it as well as a British person is Keith Carradine in Deadwood.
Yes. The Pacific quote, and I loved it, was, "Come at me, you gutless cunt." I was like, oh my God, what a great line. And he said gutless cunt a couple times.
Oh, and both of those words just sound harsh.
Yes.
If you had no idea about any words in the English language
and you heard that, gutless cunt,
you'd be like, I don't know what that is. It's bad.
So yeah, I found him funny and I enjoyed it. I also found how little chemistry between the lead female and Stallone there was.
None.
I was like, wow. And for someone who wrote and directed this movie, to pick someone that you have no chemistry with, I did not understand. But whatever.
The important question, is this a good movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not going to recommend this movie to everybody. My brother-in-law hates action movies.
Don't watch a Rambo movie.
No, then. I would never. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good movie. It definitely has good movie elements to it. But overall, I don't know if I would go so far as to say it's good.
I rated this movie too high to not call it good.
I rated it pretty high too.
Then you have to call it good.
Okay.
And it's all relative.
Sure.
I think Jay and Silent Bob is a great movie. That movie's trash.
Let's put it this way. It's definitely the second best Rambo.
And it's not close.
No. It's definitely not first, and it's definitely not third.
No, and the third best Rambo is pretty close to the second best Rambo.
Okay.
The second best Rambo is not close to the first.
No. Well, you ready to get on to our movie-related topic?
Yeah, I think you picked a good one on this movie. I saw it, and I was like,
go for it.
That's
Bring
pretty
it up.
good.
Bring it up.
What can Hollywood do to bring attention to global issues? For one, when you make a movie, let me care about the characters.
Yes.
Because that's one thing my girlfriend really disliked about the movie. She's like, that's what you watch movies for, to care about the characters.
Right.
So I can care about what's happening around the characters while they're all going through this. And it can even, just not to some extent, that's exactly what this was, a white savior movie.
Because he was saving white people, I don't know if it qualifies.
Okay. Maybe. And the only reason it doesn't qualify, I'll accept that, is because there was so little attention to the Karen tribe.
Right.
Had there been more and more Karen rebels,
it would have been a white savior movie for sure.
But like I said, even with the white savior element to movies, if you just let me care about the characters, I'm going to like your movie more.
Right.
And so when you're bringing attention to global issues, a good example that I have is, and I know you've never seen it, but Gerard Butler's Machine Gun Preacher.
Definitely haven't seen that.
It's a fucking great movie.
Okay.
This movie's better, but I still think that's a really good movie. And that movie was bringing attention to the Civil War in Sudan. It made me care about the characters a lot.
Hotel Rwanda, same thing. So a lot of what Hollywood does in movies where they're trying to prove a point or bring up an issue, I think they use historical events too much.
Yeah, because historical events have already happened.
Correct.
Which is why Machine Gun Preacher specifically, and then Rambo,
and Hotel Rwanda, not to be excluded from this conversation.
Yeah, because that was still happening.
Correct.
I don't know how they start doing that more, but I think they need to.
I do too, because these are important global issues that you didn't know what was going on in Burma until this movie.
Hell no, and I probably wouldn't have.
And this is a stupid action movie where people get sawed in half by a 50 cal. And it still brought attention to these issues, which are good things.
Yes.
Maybe, like I said, maybe not rely so heavily on the Nelson Mandela movies and Argo, and there was some movie about the 1980 Olympic team, the Munich, whatever.
I think it's called Munich.
I think it is too. I was like, it can't be that simple, but I think it is. But yeah, kind of bringing more attention to these global events that people need to know about, and no one's better to do it than Hollywood to get $150 million worth of butts in the seats to teach them about Burma. Is everyone going to learn from it? No. But the more you can get the word out, the better.
And the more America does these movies, the more other countries do movies about what the U.S. military is doing in different places.
Oh, no.
So it works out for everyone. Call everyone out on their shit. Let's make some money. But with that being said, because we don't want to go off on a political tangent here.
No.
More of these movies would be great.
Yes.
And you're not going to get good at making these movies until you start making them. And I think people are going to go see these movies because for the most part, people like to help.
I think so.
And if all you can do is send some money to some fun that's happening out there, charitable organization.
That's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. And people would do that with movies.
Right.
Because everyone watches movies. So you just have to make more because they're going to get better as you make them. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah,
because Machine Gun Preacher liked a little bit, Rambo liked a little bit. I haven't seen Hotel Rwanda since I was in high school. I don't know if it lacked.
Oh, it's a hard movie to watch.
Yeah, which is why I haven't watched it a second time.
Yeah,
so I can't even remember.
It's really good. It's a hard movie to watch because Rwandan genocide is not an easy topic to get through.
People don't like watching things about genocide?
No.
Weird.
Rule of thumb.
But yeah, Hollywood just needs to make more of these movies.
And credit Stallone, this being his passion project. Maybe he didn't do it as well as we would like, but he did go out there and he took a stand and showed a lot of people who didn't know about the atrocities in Burma to the Karen tribe.
Well, his whole point with making this movie too is he wanted to do a modern travesty that was happening in the world that people didn't know about. And so he got together with, I forget who it was, but people that look into this kind of shit and know what's going on in the world to write a movie. So yeah, go Stallone.
Good job, Stallone.
Like I said, we're a pro Stallone podcast here.
You ready to dive deep into this movie?
Real deep.
Mount Rushmore time, baby. 4 favorite scenes. We start at 4. We keep going till we get to 1. So what's your 4th favorite scene, Jacob?
No, you have to tell me your 4th
favorite scene. Because I am the virgin.
You are the virgin, and you do this every week, so you don't need a practice round.
I think my 4th favorite scene is the boat ride with the mercenaries.
Okay.
This is what you're talking about, part of the movie that needs to extend the movie an extra 15 minutes. Because it is fantastic. Schoolboy is such a good nickname. Doesn't matter how many people I killed. They won't stop calling me that. He's a great character. The British SAS agent. I'm
doing this for an ex-wife and 3 kids.
The Asian American mercenary, I should say.
There you go.
Fantastic character. Really good actor.
The singing redneck.
Oh yeah,
he was great.
I really wanted to spend more time with these guys, and I'm a little upset that I didn't. But I thought this scene was it was a great bro scene for a bro movie.
I'll skip ahead. That's my 3rd favorite scene.
Okay, all right.
Every boat ride scene with the mercenaries. Thought they were all great, and like we've already said, I wanted more of that. Everything that you said, I second all of that. Really enjoyed the singing redneck. I thought that it captured a mercenary group really well.
You had a little bit of everything.
You had a little bit of everything. They clearly didn't all like each other, but they were a team.
Right.
Like with the Expendables, like you kind of get that, but it's also more of a big budget. Let's get all these guys in here. They can just be themselves. That's not what this was. They were specific kinds of people. And I just wanted to see more of that.
You kind of felt like Schoolboy had the Rambo vibe, where it's like, I'm a sniper. What else am I going to do?
Yep.
You know, you had the guy doing it for the wife and 3 kids, ex-wife.
I think you described him perfect earlier today. Had he been born 15 years later or earlier, whatever you said, he'd be Jason Statham.
Yeah.
You
guys looking at Jason Statham like, son of a bitch.
That could have fucking been me.
Easily. So, Jacob, what's your 4th favorite scene?
My 4th favorite scene is the chase scene.
Okay, so after the prison escape, but before the final 50 cal battle.
Yes. Okay. We had dogs, we had boats, we had trucks, we had all the chasing stuff that we needed, minus a helicopter, which is the first Rambo movie that does not use a helicopter.
Okay.
So, my favorite SAS guy, and this is when I really start liking him too. Like, it happened a little bit before with going into the prison scene prior to this, but he steps in the landmine and he's just fucked. And the missionary, God-fearing missionary, is ready to leave this guy behind. And then he's just like, okay, they're not leaving him. Let me help this guy. No, don't take off his fucking bit. Love that. And then the foreshadowing from earlier in the movie, the English bomb. Stallone used that, wrapping his little his little foot with her shirt. I enjoy that explosion. Stallone is an incredible runner. With our Mission Impossible movie, it's short legs.
It is. It's short legs. I'm convinced of it.
Because he looked incredible running.
Yeah.
I love the explosion still blowing him massively forward.
Now, you still have to be a good athlete to get the running scenes.
Sure.
But the short legs help tremendously.
Yes. So, yeah, that's my 4th favorite scene.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah. Your 3rd favorite scene.
My 3rd favorite scene is, I titled this one Rambo and Arrow.
Okay.
When they go to the village and they're kind of peeking around and the truck of the Burma military pulls up and they're basically having fun watching their enemies die.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Rambo comes in and saves the day with his Rambo and Arrow.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yes.
It's so cool when he goes straight Katniss Everdeen on those motherfuckers.
And the arrow through the face.
Through the face.
Was incredible. This was my number 1 honorable mention, and I did just village scene. Like the initial village attack scene where they take the missionaries, and then I was going to combine this one because they were still tormenting the villagers.
And this is the
like
scene,
throwing out the Claymore mines and making them run, which we had already been introduced to earlier in the movie.
Right.
Like, how horrible was that? And then to not let him go. Like, if you got past the mines, just run off in the jungle. Oh, my God. And then, of course, that scene, we get you boys want to shoot. Now is the time. Or live for nothing. Or die for something.
That's some good acting from Stallone in that scene. Some sneaky good acting.
Yes.
And how kind of half the mercenaries are like, yeah, we can't let this go.
Yeah.
We got to do something.
Yep.
And the other half are like...
Because we are in it for the money, but at the same time, like, we like to think that we're not the bad guys.
Oh, your British SAS agent wanted to K-Mag Yo-Yo right then.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to kiss my ass, guys. You're on your own right then.
100% he did. So we already know my 3rd favorite scene. So what's your 2nd favorite scene?
I guess you'd call it the prison breakout scene, where they break the missionaries out of their prisons, essentially.
That's also my 2nd favorite scene.
High five. So we probably have the same first one.
We probably do.
Because those 2 scenes are
incredible.
Just awesome.
What I really liked about how it started was the we will inbred. Because I love that redneck character so much.
We will, inbred, like referring to the character. Inbred.
Yes, referring to the redneck. Yes,
not we will inbreed.
By my favorite mercenary, the SAS officer. Like, we will inbred. Love that. The Asian American mercenary got the first kill.
He's awesome.
Love that.
He's awesome.
And he did it in such a cool way, too. Saving one of the girls. Which, speaking of which, I love the gravity of the gang rape scene.
The brilliance of what's going to happen, and you don't need to show me the graphic details of what's happening.
I knew those 3 women were going to be raped by about 40 people.
As soon as I saw them on stage, I knew it.
Yeah, just the gravity of that scene was disheartening, because no matter what happens in that scene, that's the conclusion of that moment.
You're not the same person after that either.
No.
And even though they're there to break the missionaries out, they can't overlook that.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, these are decent human beings.
Yes. We see my favorite missionary all hog-tied up with his feet just gone because those hogs ate it.
Ugh.
And you saw it for a split second, but it was gross. You saw Rambo, I don't know how else to call it, but throat fucking that guy.
Oh, he just ripped his throat out.
Just ripped his esophagus out. Me and them are watching Parks and Rec, and we're in the middle of Leslie Knope's campaign when Andy was describing his movie scene for scene because they couldn't get cable at their place. And he's talking about Rambo, and he's like, and then he rips out his esophagus, which you can die because you can't breathe. You'll suffocate to death. I had already brought this up earlier. You get the first head exploding like a pumpkin scene. And that's right in this scene when Schoolboy saves Stallone and the missionary chick.
Can I make one note for this scene?
Of course, it's your second favorite scene.
More Rambo knife.
Mm-hmm.
It was in there. I want more of it.
Mm-hmm.
I want more Rambo knife.
He fucking made it himself. Show me more of that.
Yes.
You showed me a lot of it in the other 3 films. He made this one. You are him in this movie. Knife maker.
Knives.
You make knives.
I made knife.
I made knife. So our number 1 favorite scene.
Wait, hold on. So, big thing with the last season of Game of Thrones, the battle with the Night King and how dark it was. A lot of people hate that. I fucking love it. I fucking love a dark battle fight scene.
Yeah.
Raining, dark, can't really see. I love that shit.
Yeah, because it makes me feel just as anxious. Not just as anxious. I shouldn't say that.
Right.
But you know what I mean.
Very anxious.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure I'd shit myself if I was in that kind of hand-to-hand combat in broad daylight with great visuals. I can't imagine that like that. But yeah, I like those scenes too.
I had to bring that up because I like a dark fight scene.
Yeah. And it gives a cool mystique to it too. Because there's no way they're doing that in the day.
Oh yeah. That scene has to work at night.
Yep. So our number 1 favorite scene this movie has to be the final showdown.
Oh yeah.
Most action movies it is. Most. Yeah, I said most.
Yeah.
Wasn't Mission Impossible 4.
Definitely not.
But yeah, we'll start with you gutless cunt.
That's pretty much where it starts.
Yep. Is they now know that their buddies have just been captured by him screaming, "You gutless cunt."
And my favorite part about this scene is you've mentioned to me about a guy getting sawed in half by the 50 cal. When he shoots the driver from essentially point blank range with the 50 cal.
And he just turns into mush. Oh my God.
That's incredible.
And of course, right before he shoots the driver at point blank range, he chops that dude's head off with his knife. Clean off. Do you know how sharp your knife has to be to do that? And how strong you have to be.
Yes. And he is swole in this movie.
The only reason he didn't go shirtless is because he had just got done working on his full back tattoo that you see in The Expendables.
Who the hell gets a full back tattoo at 60?
Sylvester fucking Stallone.
True. You got me.
I know I did.
I mean, Ben Affleck got one at 40, so.
I love the SAS guy hopping around on his leg, killing people once shit starts going down. At that moment, I'm just I think I might like you more than Rambo in this movie.
The movie's not about Rambo.
I know it's not, but it's still called Rambo. And I watched it for Rambo. And because I watched it for Rambo, I got to see Stallone mow down people, chopping trees in half with this 50 cal.
My favorite line, the SAS agent officer, what is it? Whatever. Remember, God didn't save you, we did.
Yep. I think that was in the prison escape scene.
Might have been it might have been in your chase scene.
It was right before the chase scene.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how the prison. No, that because remember they left the prison escape scene before Stallone and Schoolboy.
Correct.
Because the missionary Michael didn't want to leave without Sarah.
Yes, that's right. I just had to bring up that line because it's a great.
Because it's incredible.
Sorry, I brought it up at the wrong time.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, the prison break scene to this is all basically one fluid scene, but we couldn't do that. There's different elements in this scene,
So in my head, in this scene, the music playing in the background is "Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor,
let the bodies hit the floor."
The whole time, because there are so many deaths in this scene, it is absurd.
One of the best things I've ever heard in my life was when Stallone moves the 50 cal over to chop through this tree and shoot at this fucking truck of men, and just my girlfriend goes, he just turned them into human ground beef, and I'm like, that's fucking hilarious, because that's exactly what happened.
Yes.
I remember the first time watching this scene, and it was everything I could have wanted.
It is peak action killing scene.
And yes, and like you said, so well shot. Stallone killed it on the directing of this movie.
Anything else you want to add for favorite scenes?
And this scene has to end before we go away from this scene with him gutting the leader.
Yeah.
And just that dude's intestines just falling out. Great. Incredible. The only thing I got left on scenes is at the very end of the movie as he's walking up to his dad's old house. It's pretty much the same exact outfit and look he had in the first scene in First Blood. Green jacket, long hair, army duffel bag, blue jeans.
That's a pretty good looking ranch, man.
Yeah.
I went back. That's a nice ranch.
Yeah.
Where is he? Somewhere in the Texas Hill Country or something?
Arizona.
Oh, he's from, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
A nice ranch.
Yeah. What's his dad's name? Rambo? Richard?
Big Dick Rambo?
Big Dick Rambo. I was going to keep trying on our names, but Big Dick Rambo wins it.
Yeah. Because anybody named Richard is Big Dick in my book.
Yeah. Duh. Character breakdown. I see we have a little bit of a disagreement here.
Okay.
Because I said the only three characters we need to talk about was Rambo, Schoolboy, and our SAS agent.
You're not wrong.
You have the missionaries. Who's John? Oh, John J. Rambo.
Rambo.
I get it. Yeah, no. Yeah. I get it. Military. Yeah.
That was a First Blood callback.
That was clever. And there's so many First Blood callbacks in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they call back the other two movies, too.
Yeah, but this one calls back to the first one more than the others.
Yes.
And I enjoyed that about the movie. We haven't talked about it yet, but
we can talk about it now with character breakdown. Yeah. Start with Rambo. A lot of good callbacks to his previous experiences, and I do think I was right about Stallone not doing it for the pretty woman, but doing it because of the humanity. Now, I do think that it changed to it being because she's a pretty woman. I'll turn back for you. You just say when. We're here for her.
Yeah, he's just grunting, but the majority of his dialogue in this movie.
And you can tell with these callbacks to his previous experiences that him deciding to help was because of just his general humanity. Like, that's why he hasn't gone home. Because
it's a mess.
Yeah. He feels at home in Southeast Asia because he killed too many people there.
And I think the best acting Stallone does in this movie is when it's showing him as whatever, the snake catcher and the fisherman, where you can tell he's not happy, but he's content. He's content where he is doing those things.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good. One of the hardest things as an actor to do is to portray contentness.
Yeah.
because you can show big emotions and all that. That's pretty easy as an actor. To portray contentment is extremely difficult. And I thought he did a really good job in that kind of opening session of the movie.
You needed to see that from Rambo for this movie to make as much sense as it can.
Right.
I just love how much Rambo loves killing.
He doesn't know anything else. It's not his fault.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me love it any less.
No.
Thank you, U.S. government. And in real life, he gave me the movie American Sniper. So
thanks for going to a war you had no business going to.
Yeah, you gave me Rambo. I appreciate that. Rambo's fucking incredible. You have the missionaries on here, so I'll let you dabble on them for a second. Because the only thing I got is they were annoying. There was no chemistry. I didn't care about them.
Agreed. I don't know if I cared about anybody in this movie, character-wise. Obviously, the Karen tribe, just atrocious how they were treated. But in terms of individual characters, I don't know if I cared about any of them.
Which is the biggest negative of this movie.
Mm-hmm. Basically Rambo, and essentially Rambo and the missionaries, kind of him telling them, like, you're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're handing out Bibles ain't going to help a goddamn person.
Yeah. How many guns you taking?
None.
You ain't changing nothing. Do you like my Stallone voice?
Yeah, but it's only Stallone in this movie. Stallone doesn't talk like that other than this movie.
No, and even the other Rambos, he doesn't talk like it.
He kind of usually got that Stallone thing.
I think he's just really upset in his life right now, so he doesn't like talking.
Can't blame him.
Yeah.
He's been through hell.
And he's looking at the ass into snakes.
Yeah.
He's an uptight bastard. The mercenaries.
There's three that really stand out. Asian American.
I think they all stand out, honestly.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Because I like the redneck more than you do.
Yeah, but he just kind of sings at the beginning. It's kind of funny. And
yeah.
That's about it.
Okay, you're right. For character breakdown, there is only three.
Yeah.
There should have been a character breakdown for everybody in the mercenary group. We can agree on that.
Yes.
Because he could have been a fleshed out good character.
And the best of the mercenaries, you might like the SAS agent. It's Schoolboy for me, though.
Okay.
Schoolboy is the most like Rambo. He doesn't really want to be there.
No.
He's a trained sniper and he knows nothing else. And do you know what skills a sniper has that can help him in the real world?
Patience.
That's it. Patience in an impatient world. And go in your next interview when someone asks what your biggest strength is, tell them patience. See what they say to that.
You think I'll get a job that way?
No.
Yeah, Schoolboy was good. I don't know, the SAS officer.
Schoolboy did his own thing. Schoolboy did what he thought was right, which was, I think, why I liked him the best.
Okay.
He did. Yes, it's a military. You follow the leader. Blah blah blah. But when it came nut cutting time, he did what he thought was best.
Which in a mercenary group you can get away with.
Right.
It's like, whatever, you want to stay here and die? That's on you, bub.
Yeah. The SAS agent, your favorite. What are you gonna say about him?
Nothing, but he's great. I love just how snarky and just generally rude that he is. And rude is just the best way I can describe it as an American. Because the few people that I know from the UK, they're just generally like that, but it's all a big joke.
Well, and you also have to understand.
They bust balls a lot, you know what I mean?
Well,
and so I know a lot of that came from a real place because he didn't like Rambo. But it's so authentic for him to come off that way because even when you're joking and dicking around, you're doing nothing but busting balls.
And London's essentially New York City.
Yeah.
Everyone's moving fast. Everyone's, hey, I'm walking over here. But in British accents and, there's a real kind of city vibe to it. There's not a lot of country parts of Britain, right?
Yeah.
You can go to Wales and Scotland and there's some country parts, but not of England.
Yeah.
So, good character, like what he did.
Wish there was more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't delve deep into the mercenaries like we want to. Because, like I said earlier, this was a great group of mercenaries on screen.
Yeah, and it's a 90-minute movie that's 45 minutes of pure action.
Yeah.
So our character breakdowns aren't going to be super deep.
No.
We're sorry, guys.
And you know us, we like to get deep. As deep as we can go.
Which sometimes isn't as deep as most people would like.
But luckily, to get deeper after we can't go deep with character breakdown, we have trivia to go as deep as we possibly can.
That is a professional transition, my friend.
The film is currently banned by the Burmese government. The military ruling party has ordered DVD vendors in Burma not to distribute the film due to the movie's content. Despite having never been released there theatrically or on DVD, the film is, however, available there in bootleg versions. Despite the film being unpopular amongst some of the population due to the negative portrayal of the Tatmadaw, the opposition youth group Generation Wave copied and distributed the film as anti-Tatmadaw propaganda. According to Karen freedom fighters, the movie gave them a great boost of morale. Burmese freedom fighters have even adopted dialogue from the movie, most notably live for nothing or die for something, as rallying points and battle cries. That, to me, said Sylvester Stallone, is one of the proudest moments I've ever had in film. Also overseas, Burmese have praised the movie for its vivid portrayal of the military's oppression of the Karen people.
Awesome.
Yep. Had to start trivia with that.
Wow.
Yep. Go big or go home.
I like that. That's good for the Karen freedom fighters.
Yep.
The ones that are like, fuck this, we're bootlegging this. Because guess what? Not everybody's John J. Rambo.
Nope.
But you can help out. If you can bootleg this shit and get it out, you can help the cause even if you're not Rambo.
Yep. When asked what his take on the film was, First Blood writer David Morrell, the original author of the book, said, "I'm happy to report that overall I'm pleased. The level of violence might not be for everyone, but it has a serious intent. This is the first time that the tone of my first novel, First Blood, has been used in any of the movies. It's spot on in terms of how I imagine the character. Angry, burned out, and filled with self-disgust because Rambo hates what he is and yet knows it's the only thing he does well. I think some elements could have been done better, but I think this film deserves a solid 3 stars.
And here again, you can do that when Rambo's not the main character.
Yeah.
Just a main character that's angry and violent.
Well, and then by the time you get to the 4th Rambo, like, I'm okay with him just being angry and violent.
And I mean,
that first movie, if he was killing those cops, it wouldn't have hit home as well as it did.
We're 30 plus years removed from Vietnam at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the same person.
No. Stallone specifically wanted the film to be set in the midst of the most brutal ongoing global conflict that was basically ignored by the public and media. After ruling out established and well-known conflicts in the Middle East, Latin America, and African, Stallone talked to international experts who told him about the Burmese junta's mass murder of the Karen people. And then he made it this movie storyline.
So he was thinking about doing like a pro-Palestinian?
I guess so.
All right.
Let's go Stallone. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, my friend. Mang Ken, who played the Burmese dictator Tent, fought for the Karen rebels in real life.
Hell yeah.
He was afraid his family would be murdered if he took the role, but took it anyway.
Real ones.
Yep.
Real ones.
Yep. Not a gutless cunt.
Not at all.
Not even in the slightest.
Brave son of a bitch. Awesome.
Yep. There's good trivia for this movie. Stallone described the Burmese River as the most difficult terrain I've ever had to navigate, including cliffhanger.
It looks frightening.
Mm-hmm. On sunny days, temperatures would reach 120 degrees.
Oh, it's 104 right now.
And everything's awful. Everything. Originally, in the final battle, Rambo was supposed to hold the M2 50 cal machine gun in his hands and fire it. But when fully assembled, the weapon weighed 120 pounds.
God.
Stallone was still capable of holding and firing it, but it was too cumbersome for quick movement, so it was mounted on the back of a Jeep instead. And with it being mounted on the back of the Jeep, on top of getting the movements, is where you got him face to face with the driver.
I need to
turning him into chop suey.
It was one of the late night shows. I don't know if it was like James Corden or Conan O'Brien or someone, and Schwarzenegger's on, and they're talking about the Stallone Schwarzenegger kind of friendly rivalry in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And Schwarzenegger starts talking about how, who's the biggest, who has the coolest kills, who's carrying the biggest guns. And he was like, at the end of it, I would only use guns that were meant to be mounted to helicopters and tanks. I need to find that and send it to you.
Yes, because I need to see it today. In his commentary for First Blood, author David Morrell cites the inspiration for John Rambo as being World War II hero and later Hollywood actor Audrey Murphy. Rambo's last stand in the finale is very similar to the actions Murphy took that resulted in his being awarded the Medal of Honor, manning a 50 cal machine gun mounted on a vehicle, in that case a tank, and single-handedly holding off hundreds of enemy soldiers, killing dozens. However, in Murphy's case, the tank he was firing from had been disabled and was on fire, and the cannon shells and ammunition it was carrying could have exploded at any moment. I like how real life is even more crazy than the movies we watch sometimes. Because it's like I really can't tell the story because it's so fucking nuts that you won't believe it's true. Like there's this one Russian female sniper during World War II that had the most confirmed kills in the Soviet Union, and the kind of shit she did is just like you wouldn't believe it if we put it in a movie.
And I know somebody that was stationed in Fallujah, and they showed me. And we have camera phones at this time. We didn't back then. He showed me a video of someone who they called Pancake Man. They called him that because they ran over him with a fucking tank.
Wow. Okay. I'm really sorry for any Russian listeners out there, but just wanted to give a call out to Ludmila Pavlichkinko.
Don't look at me.
I fucked that up, but she's recognized as the most successful female sniper in history with a total of 309 confirmed kills.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Dude, Chris Kyle had like 80.
309.
Oh.
Yeah. Sometimes real life is just way cooler. The first Rambo film where Rambo works with the team rather than going solo. It's the first and only Rambo film directed by Stallone. It's the first Rambo film where he uses a pistol. It's also the first Rambo film without a helicopter, which I noted earlier. And most notably, which I noted earlier, it's the first Rambo film where he's not shirtless.
I kind of wanted to see shirtless Stallone.
Because he looks fucking good in this movie.
His shoulders are... How do you get your shoulders that wide?
I don't know. Especially at 60.
That's incredible.
Call out to First Blood again. Ted Ketchniff, who directed First Blood, acts as a technical consultant on this installment.
Right. I like what he did in First Blood.
Yeah. Despite having said early in the movie that taking a life is never right, the character of Michael Burnett kills a Tatma soldier. This is done in a biblically correct manner with a stone.
Rock.
Yep. With a fucking rock, as you said.
My dad referred to those as sex stones.
Okay.
A fucking rock.
Yep.
Is a sex stone.
Okay. Way to go, Greg. Rambo is addressed as Boatman during the movie. From Greek mythology, Charon, the boatman, ferried souls to the land of the dead for money.
Over the river Styx. Across the river Styx, I should say.
With Burma and Myanmar being in a 60-year civil war and genocide qualifies as land of the dead. Also, the name of the rebel faction is Karen, which is pronounced like Charon.
So we've been saying it wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I forgot till I read that, and I read it earlier. Again, we're just some white American dudes that are trying our best here.
Sorry.
So one of the rejected Rambo 4 scripts from the early 90s Stallone wrote was mentioned by him in an interview in November of 93. Around that time, he was working on a new script, which had Rambo returning to his hometown and meeting his brother, who is a town sheriff. But then Rambo gets kicked out because everyone in town knows about everything he did in Vietnam in the previous 3 films. However, Rambo returns once some escaped criminals his brother put in jail escaped to kill him, and the entire film would take place during a large hurricane.
Pass.
Yeah, glad that one didn't get made. Also, hurricane in Arizona. You're just going to change where he lives. Some of the other rejected scripts for the fourth film, written during the 20 years after the third film, and before finally the fourth one did get made, had Rambo fighting against right-wing militia, a white supremacy group, terrorists, international drug dealers, meth dealers, biker gangs, and cartels and human traffickers and sex slavers, which are the types of villains he would battle in the 5th film. I was really surprised about the
Right-wing
white
militia.
supremacy and right-wing militia, because I think we talked about it earlier. Stallone's kind of political.
You want to see a movie where Stallone fights the Proud Boys?
Yes. Yes. 100% I do.
But yes, without necessarily being one party or another, Stallone puts out some pretty political stuff.
Mm-hmm. And based on what he puts out, I like him.
Yeah.
I collect magazines, and I came across this special edition Rambo magazine that I really wanted to get, but a gun manufacturer, it was their magazine. And me knowing how Stallone feels about Rambo, I was like, I can't buy this. Like, as much as I want to. And I opened it and went to the Rambo trivia. It just glorified the wrong stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't buy this. Last 2 bits of trivia. There is an average of 2.5 killings per minute in this movie.
That's a lot.
Yeah, especially since 50 minutes of this movie, almost nobody died.
Well, you say that. In the first 50 minutes, he kills the Burmese pirates.
Yeah, I mean 50 minutes altogether.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. And it's an hour and 20 or an hour and a half movie, and 50 minutes of it, there's nobody dying.
Is this the first movie we've done where we both think this movie should have been longer?
Yes.
Yeah. You won't hear that much from us.
No. Especially 90-minute films, because we love our 90-minute films. Yeah. The highest body count of any Rambo film at 466 people.
I mean, like I said, that one scene is literally, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the...
They're a Dallas band, everybody. We're in Dallas. That's a local drowning pool shout out. Yeah, that's all my trivia.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, this movie had good trivia. I enjoyed going through it.
You ready for impersonation time?
I am ready for impersonation time. What do we have on the docket today, BJ?
Your favorite character in the movie.
British SAS agent.
Yeah, that's right. We gotta get right here. I've seen that thought. Whoa, that just went Australian. We gotta start that off again. I can't get Australian out of my head. Okay. Hey, wanker. The 1,000-yard stare don't scare me much. I've seen it all. I ain't fucking scared. Goddamn Jason Statham, born fucking 10 years too late. I could have been Jason fucking Statham. I could have been Hobbs and fucking Shaw. I don't remember which one's which, but I could have been Shaw. Hobbs, who fucking cares? I could have been Jason fucking Statham.
That was good. I'm upset that I have to go second after that one. That was good. You know what the worst thing about this gutless fucking movie was? That gutless cunt had the fucking title to the movie. It should have been me. I'm the fucking star of this movie.
No one even knows my name, but I'm the star.
Nobody even fucking knows my name, and I'm the fucking leader. I make the fucking shots. It's bullshit.
Wanker.
Gutless fucking cunt. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, Americans doing a British accent is always fun.
Why are British better at doing American accents than Americans are at doing British accents?
I don't know, because not only can they do just an American accent. They can switch it up. They can do Southern. They can do Boston, West Coast. It's fucking weird.
You a big fan of Daniel Craig's Southern accent in Knives Out?
Knives Out and Logan Lucky.
Oh, Logan Lucky. Joe Bang.
So, final thoughts on the movie. You said it wasn't a good movie, but you said you ranked it high too, and that's my thing. I give this movie a 7.7.
That's okay. Yeah. So,
and you can't. In my mind, you can't be above an 8 and not be called a good movie. And I can call a 5-star a good movie.
Yeah.
No, me personally, because it's all relative. Like I can enjoy a 5-star and call it a good movie, and I would never recommend it to people. But for an actual good movie, and I think this is actually a good movie, you get a 7 or above if you're an actual good movie. And I got you at 7.7. You're a high 7.
So much like with Jay and Silent Bob, having only seen this movie once, I think my opinion can change one way or the other upon more viewings. But right now, I'm going to put it at about a 7.5.
Okay.
There's no way this movie's going above an 8 for me. It's just not. It's not good enough.
Sure.
But I don't know, maybe it'll drop below a 7, but if it does, not much. Because the last 3 scenes are so fucking cool.
Incredible. Such
good action scenes. But like I said, having only seen this once, it's a really tough ranking for me. So I have it at a 7.5. I don't feel comfortable with that.
Okay. But is it a good movie? Or do you not feel comfortable answering that question yet?
It is a good action movie.
Okay. Fair.
If you're a character development person, this movie fucking sucks.
Yes.
But really good action, and the fact that Stallone is bringing up a global issue to people who don't know it bumps it up a little bit for me too.
Fair.
Should they remake this movie? Or, with this movie, I think a more apt thing to say, should this have been the last Rambo? That was a big sigh.
I like Rambo 5.
But you know this should have been the last Rambo.
Yeah. This should have been the final installment to the Rambo franchise. And I enjoy Final Blood.
It was a good ending. It pays homage to the first, second, and third movies. It gets its point across. Stallone gets his, hey, stop ignoring this media narrative out there. Probably should have been the last Rambo.
Yeah.
As much as you like Last Blood.
Yes. And on the should they remake this movie, it's the same as The First Blood. Like, sure, you can make Rambo again, and you can make it a different war, and you can remake this movie at the end of the day.
Right.
But yeah, this should have been the last movie. And again, I like Final Blood. Last Blood. Last Blood. Not Final Blood. We've already discussed what we would do to make the movie better. Add 15 minutes on it. And there's 3 things. You either make a movie about the Chiron rebels and people, the mercenaries, or the missionaries. And in my mind, you can pick 2 out of the 3.
Agreed. But even if you pick 2 out of the 3, you still got to add 15 minutes.
And I think with Stallone's, with what he wanted to do with this movie and the message he wanted to do, you have to pick the Chiron tribe. So then is this a mercenary or missionary? And I think it has to be mercenary.
Yeah, if you do the missionaries, it's a different movie.
At least with the characters they chose and went with.
Because if you do the missionaries, you have to somehow get the point across that you don't have to be Rambo to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a difference in other ways. And I don't know if you can show that
in a Rambo movie.
Right.
So it has to be the missionaries.
Yeah.
So it needs 15 more minutes with the focus on the Chiron rebels and people and the mercenaries.
I can't disagree with that. You're spot on there.
The only people I'd recast in this movie is the missionaries.
You got to get somebody who has some chemistry with Stallone.
Yeah. Whether it's the male with negative chemistry or the female with positive chemistry.
Either one. With both of those, there's 0.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's some people that didn't like it as much as we did, and there's some people that liked it more than we did. So hit us with your IMDb reviews, Jacob.
I'm going to be honest here. When I was reading these bad reviews, I was kind of upset with myself because I forgot that you had seen the second and third Rambo movies.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, should we have watched this one before the second and third one?
Yes, we don't need to do the second and third ones.
I mean, we probably are gonna.
Okay.
They're gonna be fun to talk about. Yeah. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But we don't have to do them back to back like I wanted to.
Okay.
They can be stretched out. But reading these bad reviews, I was like, oh my God, did I pick a good one? I think I did, but whatever. My good review by Zushin31.
Like Zeus Shen? Or like a zoo, like where animals are?
Zushen.
Oh, so that's probably his name. It's probably an Asian guy.
Yeah, Zushin31.
Okay.
I don't have the title to this, so fuck it. When you're pushed. Oh, yeah, I do. When you're pushed, killing's as easy as breathing.
Yeah.
The return of the 80s and early 90s classics have been hit or miss. Terminator 3, though watching Arnold as his greatest and most famous character was great, the movie was awful. Die Hard 4, Live for Your Die Hard. I've mentioned that many times in this pod. I'm excited to do it. Though it had a good story and enjoyable cast, seemed to suffer with overdone special effects. I mean, come on. Bruce Willis was surfing on a jet while stuff was blowing up left and right. Not to mention the movie was rated PG-13 and not rated R like the previous Die Hard movies, thus appealing to a much younger crowd.
You have said that exact statement before.
Yes, I have. He's right. I agree with this guy. But then came Rocky Balboa. This movie reminded me of what a great movie can be. It had a message, a story, great acting, and didn't strive to be totally different from its predecessors. With that sigh of relief, I had high hopes for Rambo. Could Stallone make Rambo as good as Rocky Balboa? Yes. This movie hits home. Everything about it is great. It's as if Stallone took every element that made the previous Rambos good and mashed them all together to make one badass Rambo movie. The story was there, the action was there, and the level to which it was presented was very intense. This movie is chock full of gore, and it works very well, especially since the enemy is built up to be this mindless, sick, brutal force that thrives on killing the innocent. You can't wait until the first arrow cruises through a skull or knife slices across a throat. Very intense. I recommend this movie to anyone who loves action movies because this one is one of the best. 10 out of 10.
He's not wrong with anything he says. It's just not a 10 out of 10 movie.
No.
But he's right in every single thing he says. It does. It takes the best from the previous 3 Rambo movies. It is high quality action. Throat slitting, arrows through heads, sawed in half by 50 cals.
Just incredible.
Would you like to invite this guy to the podcast?
Yes.
All right.
Zushin31 can come on.
We'll do an action movie with him.
Hell yeah, we will. Now we have for the guy that won't be in our podcast. Bruno J29.
We don't talk about Bruno, no. Sorry, I have kids.
Worst movie in ages. I won't waste too many words on this piece of crap. Let me start by saying I love the original Rambo movies in their respective context and time, not this one. You know how some movies are so bad they actually become good again because of their silliness? Well, this one is so bad that it is simply bad. If Encyclopedia Britannica was to explain the phenomenon awful movie, they'd probably waste a still from Rambo 4 in the article. Acting in this movie by most members of the cast, not excluding Stallone himself, is so awful it's insulting to watch. Blowing up half the jungle with an explosion big enough to be nuclear and still managing to outrun the explosion is just too much.
That is the most ridiculous Claymore I've ever seen.
Even in a Rambo movie, to bear. In fact, the high mark given to this movie by other visitors really makes me wonder what kind of world we live in. avoid at all costs unless you loved, for instance, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or being skull fucked, because that is the feeling you'll have after watching this movie. I enjoy the term skull fucked.
You sure you don't want this guy on the podcast?
No, he can come on. I was just kidding.
Jacob, are you recommending this movie to people?
I'm not recommending this movie to everybody.
Okay.
Well, like I said, when I started reading the bad reviews, I was like, did I pick the wrong movie for BJ? Because I didn't even know if you'd really like it. Just in the sense, because I forgot that you had seen second and third. If I would have remembered that, I wouldn't have even cared. But going from the first to this one, or someone that's never seen a Rambo movie, I would never tell them to watch this.
My wife asked if she can watch it with me. I was like, you don't want to.
No.
I was like, I know you're not going to like it. Now, spoiler for next week, she watched Deep Blue Sea with me.
Which is fucking incredible.
I knew she wasn't going to like this movie, so I was like, nah, you can go play on your iPad or something. Why did I just treat my wife like she was a fucking kid? But I was like, no. You don't need to watch this movie. If you do, great. If you like Rambo 1, 2, and 3, watch this movie. It's the second best Rambo movie.
Yes.
But this is definitely not a movie for everyone.
No. And like you said, next week, we have the deepest, the bluest, the seaiest Deep Blue Sea.
My head is like a shark's fin. Deepest, bluest sea. My head is like a shark's fin.
Ladies love Cool J, baby. We'll see y'all next week.